Okay, we're on the afternoon break of the first day of questioning of Peter Francis. Peter Francis was the undercover police officer who infiltrated family justice campaigns, anti-racist movements between 1993 and 97. He is the only undercover police officer who's ever gone whistleblower, which he did back in 2010. This is the first of 4 days of questioning of him. I'm joined by Evelyn Lubbers, the Undercover Research Group. Evelyn, what have you made of what we heard from Peter Francis since lunch?
Well, it's certainly very useful to have him here because he's been questioned in very much in detail about exactly what he heard, what was said. And we've had like about 5 or 6 different issues where we went along all the different officers that were in the SDS and the managers and the backhouse. Did you ever hear so-and-so saying anything racist, so-and-so, so-and-so? And if he would answer yes, they would go into what was the context? Was it in front of other people? Was it? And it's, I think that is very, and Peter Francis is also like very clear on when he remembers something and when he doesn't. He's able to recall a lot of like racist stuff, the atmosphere that was like before lunch mainly. Now it was like more detailed. We're going very deep. And we get a good impression of how the atmosphere was and how afraid the team and the Met in general were after Stephen Lawrence and when the campaign for the Stephen Lawrence family justice campaign got off. It was compared with the potential of public order disturbance was compared with Los Angeles.
There was a lot made of the specific direction that Peter Francis was given by HN 86, his manager, who during 9 months before he was deployed into the field gave a lift to work each day whilst he was working in the back office. He talked at great length about the intense frustration that HN86 had, that there was a dearth of intelligence about the Lawrence family campaign coming into the SDS, and how really unprecedented this was. About the SDS were used to having information about all the campaigns that they wanted to have, and that for whatever reason, this wasn't the case with the Stephen Lawrence justice campaign, and in fact, about family justice campaigns in general. But the Stephen Lawrence campaign was felt that this could be the big one. This was something that was, akin to Rodney King in LA, and that there was a fear that they were going to lose control of the situation in public order terms, and that led to a desire, a need to discredit the family. And he talked about how this had been done in the past, about how SDS intelligence had been passed on to the media. He talked about this case of Cynthia Jarrett, about Joy Gardner, and about how it was felt that if you could discredit a campaign, then you could take the steam out of it. He said that HN86 expressed these issues and these concerns to them in very, very racist terminology, repeated use of racial slurs when referring to black people.
Yeah, and also this evidence sort of I can't find the word. Anyway, we've heard from Black family justice campaigns that there were slurs in the press, and the police leaked stuff about them, apparently untrue, just to make them seem that the people who died in the hands of the police or whose that were not being investigated, they were violent themselves or they had resisted, and more or less it was their own fault. And we've heard that sort of firsthand from experience from family members of Black justice campaigns. And now we hear from Peter Francis that indeed this had happened, and this was like a tactic or a specific quest to find smear about Black family campaigns, and that it would be used against them. And this is like we've knew all this, but to hear it like so close to each other from the family members themselves and from Peter Francis, who was in the field or in the back room back in the day, is very revealing indeed.
Yeah, there's we've been taken through the transcripts of Peter Francis's appearance on Dispatches, the Channel 4 documentary that was aired in 2013, and he's been asked to explain comments that he made in that, line by line. There has been breaches today. There's been another breach this afternoon. Can't talk about what it's about. I haven't been asked to delete any of my tweets. I'm pretty sure that I didn't break any restriction orders with what I posted out. So there's a lot of things that have been said this afternoon about the way in which undercover officers were prepped, how they were given the license to break the laws. Peter Francis talked about how before he was an SDS officer, he had a gun, he was allowed to speed, he was allowed to run red lights. And that he assumed that when he became an SDS officer, he didn't realize that it was all being done on the back of a fag packet. He thought that he was that the law breaking that he was given authorization to do was properly authorized. He was told that it wouldn't be perjury for him to give evidence in court under his false name, as that his false name was linked to his real name, and the Home Office were aware of what he was doing, and this wouldn't be an offence either. So the culture of impunity, I mean, essentially, it just shows how. For ordinary officers, this was just normal. It kind of felt that that was, well, that's the kind of thing that happens with the police. You kind of get given the opportunity to break the law as a police officer. This is the way it would work. We're only on a short break. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, not now.
No. We'll do another a recap at the end of the day. I'm not sure how long it's going to run late today. There's 4 days of evidence for Peter Francis, but there's an enormous amount to get through. We haven't got to any of his actual reports yet. So I would imagine it would run fairly late. Thanks for joining. We'll see you all again.